Writing and storytelling has always been a part of my life. Ever since I was little, I was always making up stories or expanding upon someone else's. I love it. Always have, always will. The best feeling for me is being able to write about something that I experienced myself. The personal narrative project was exactly that. Writing about personal experiences is probably the easiest way to write, because you yourself know exactly what happened and what it felt like to be in the situation you're writing about. My personal narrative was about dealing with anxiety and clinical depression. Having these mental illnesses actually helps when writing about those moments, because you feel those emotions so much stronger than the average person. On top of that, this project also helped me cope with that part of my life, so it was a win-win for me. When I heard there was a creative writing class, I knew I had to take it. I knew that I had the potential to write compelling pieces, and I knew that I could really grow as a writer through the class as well. This is especially apparent in my poetry portfolio. I write poetry all the time. Whenever I feel a strong emotion, I write about it through a poem. Writing poems this much and going back to read those poems made me realize that I have a lot of potential to make great poetry, but I wasn't quite there yet. Writing the portfolio was the most beneficial project for me because now I write poetry and I'm almost always happy with it. Every poem I wrote in the portfolio was filled with emotion. The best part of this project was to hear others' poetry. I think it helped a lot of us cope with our problems and past experiences we'd rather not think about. But seeing classmates get up on that stage and be brave enough to show their true colors was my favorite moment of this semester. I always hear people who say I can't write or I don't know how, which is total bullcrap. If you have emotions and a pencil, you can write. That's all it takes. The most clear example of this is from the Moment brainstorm. We were asked to just write single words of what we saw and felt. I chose this moment that really hits me to the core. It was the time when my friends pretty much told me they wanted me gone. I had a lot to write about for that. Anxious, sad, raining outside, stressed, cold, alone. Once I find a moment that I have a lot of emotional connection to, the words just start flowing and I end up with a page that perfectly explains how I felt to be in that moment. One thing I know helps the most with writing is reading. I hate that I'm like this, but I really don't like reading. Unless the book grabs my attention, I put it down. This semester I was surprised how much I read and how much I liked. Hills Like White Elephants was a very down-to-earth look at a tough situation. Encyclopedia of an Ordinary Life was one of my favorites. It was such an interesting way to write an autobiography. I even read an analysis of my favorite poem, The Wasteland, by T.S. Eliot. It helped me better understand what he was saying in the poem, and in turn helped me write better poetry. It might not be the most exciting part of being a writer, but reading is extremely important. Not only that, but brainstorming and peer revision is also a great way to improve your writing. Brainstorms are perfect for getting your ideas out of your head and onto the paper. It's just so freeing to write nonsense down. But that nonsense can sometimes become your next greatest idea. Once you run with that, you'll need someone else's opinion. No matter what, you're probably going to think your writing is great, but sometimes it just isn't. That's why peer revision is so important, because the point of writing is for someone else to read it. If they don't like it, they'll tell you what you did and how to make it better. That's what it's all about, improving and getting better and better until you know you did a great job and your audience can see that. I've been writing for as long as I can remember. It's what I love. Being in this class has been a great pleasure. It's because of this class that makes me believe, not just in myself, but all of you. Like I said, if you have emotion and a pencil, you can write.
Everything that I want from you, but I just can't have you. Everything that I need from you, but I just can't have you. Las Vegas, yeah. Let's